So, welcome to this new episode of Dating After a Toxic Relationship. It's been a little bit since I recorded, maybe a couple weeks. I got sick with Cedar fever. Thank you, Austin, Texas. And then Christmas and stuff like that, shopping. And then I started school. So, I've been taking classes. So, I'm super psyched about that. So, it's been a little bit. So, anyway, today I was sitting in the house and just kind of thinking like about a whole bunch of different things. I started working on my second book this morning. I'm 9 chapters in. I'm super psyched about it. It's coming out better than I thought it was going to. I originally had it one way and then changed it and went in a different direction. And now I'm like thrilled with it. So I've been kind of fixing it up a little bit and kind of getting it ready. So I have maybe a few more chapters to write once I get everything organized and all my thoughts out. But man, I'll tell you what, this whole dating thing, what the fuck? Am I right? Just a little vent. Like, I think it's difficult to date after a toxic relationship. And I think it's just difficult to date if you're a human. I think it's even more difficult when you're a little older and when you're kind of thinking about your future, when you have kids, after you've been divorced, after you've been cheated on and lied to and all these other things. I think it can be like a really tough thing. I think the one thing that we don't really think about when we talk about dating, either after a toxic relationship or just in general, is what men go through and what they feel. What do men feel after they've been hurt? What do they feel after they've been cheated on? What do they feel after someone they thought maybe they were going to spend their life with and they end up getting their hearts trampled on? I don't think we really think about that. I think as women, we go into relationships and we just assume it's going to be all about us, and it really isn't all about us. It should definitely be about both sides of it. So when you have two people that have had trauma, some kind of damage done, their trust destroyed, their hearts ripped out, it's almost like a standoff in a way. Like, who's going to cave first? Who's going to do that? Who's going to give in to their ways? And it's a little bit difficult to kind of date like that. I've been having a little bit of difficulty myself trying to figure out all this dating stuff. I finally came to the realization recently, and I wrote it in my latest article on my website, kellysmithauthor.com, how I no longer feel like I'm dating after a toxic relationship. I feel like now I'm just dating. And it's interesting because I have let go of so much of the trauma that I endured during my toxic relationship, where it's not like, oh, he's going to do this like my ex, he's going to do that like my ex. Now I'm looking at this person as just him. Just him. Just him. So it's interesting making that transition from being so nervous about being hit and being cheated on and being put down and being lied to kind of making that transition to, you know what, if something like that happens, then it happens and I get through it and move on with my life. It's no longer a fear of mine. I think there are definitely some things that I have going on that I can't tell, is this from this relationship I was in, or is this just who I am? I have insecurities. I mean, I do. And I sometimes have a hard time with it because I'm like, how much of this do I have to do 100% on my own, and how much would somebody else kind of help out with that? And there's part of me that's like, no, do it all on your own. But it's hard when you don't get reassurance sometimes. It's hard when you're trying your best to do it, to kind of figure yourself out and be the best version that you can be, and at the same time trying to explain to someone else kind of what your needs are. I think that's tough. That's really tough to do. I think we get mixed up because, like, right now all these Christmas movies are out and it's all about relationships and finding someone for Christmas. Slipping on the ice and cracking your head and waking up in your childhood bed on the day before you're supposed to marry your high school sweetheart. It's like the craziest stuff. But I think we gotta get caught up. And for me, when I was younger, I had never seen what a healthy relationship looked like. My parents didn't have a healthy relationship. Nobody in my family had a healthy relationship. So I had no idea what that looked like. So when I was younger, I held on to the idea of Disney movies. Like, that's exactly how it's supposed to go. Some dude's supposed to come, save you, take care of you, blah, blah. But I had the inner battle because I am a little bit more independent and I like to take care of myself. It's just something that I just do. So I always had that idea of like, wait, if this guy comes along and takes care of me, like, why do I need him? I can take care of myself. But at the same time, I just kind of put that aside and was like, yeah, this is how it's supposed to be. The guy's supposed to come save you and put you in a house and you're supposed to like clean it and shit and like have a bunch of kids and like that's it. But that's literally not how any of this goes. So now experiencing more of a healthy relationship, I'm realizing what that's supposed to look like and how it's supposed to feel. And sometimes I don't have all my needs met. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel like I'm not good enough. Sometimes I feel like, you know, maybe things would be better if I looked different. Maybe things would be better if I had a better body. Maybe it would be better if I had a different job. Maybe if I weren't so sensitive. Maybe if I weren't emotional. Maybe if I didn't, you know, do stuff like that, things would be a lot easier. So I start to pick myself apart. And I'm like, damn, Kelly, you could be so much better. But it's hard because I was reading a lot of the stuff that I wrote today in my book about my recovery program, and damn, I went through a lot in that recovery. I read stuff today that I kind of forgot about because I'm finally moving past it, where it was like the screaming and the crying and the just getting your demons out and really facing them. Unless you've had to go and make amends to someone face to face and admit to them that you were essentially a dirtbag, you don't know what that's like. Like, that's excruciating. It's tough to do an inventory, to really look at yourself and to know all the things that you did wrong and face yourself and be like, wow, that's who I was. I don't want to be that woman anymore. So when I'm feeling less than, when I'm feeling not good enough, when I'm feeling like hard on myself because I'm not perfect and because I feel I could be better, it brings me down. I'm really hard on myself, and that's a really, really difficult thing to kind of deal with, you know, because I want to be perfect. I know I can't be. I don't want to overthink. I don't want to be emotional. I don't want to feel like I'm not good enough for someone because of maybe how I look. I don't want to feel those things, and I know that's not up to someone else to help me with. It's up to me, and it's one of those things where it's really hard to do. It's hard because I've come so far and I'm still working on a lot of things. There's a lot of stuff that I'm working on and trying to become a better version of me, not for him, not for my kids, not for my family, not for my friends, but for me, because of what kind of a woman I want to be. What does that look like? Like, I can tell you what kind of woman I want to be, you know, in general, but there is stuff that I work so hard to try to overcome. And sometimes I feel like I'm not being met halfway. But then I feel selfish for asking for help. Because not a lot of people know how to do that. Not a lot of people know how to say certain things or act a certain way, I guess. And not in like a bad way or like a negative way. It just doesn't come natural for some people. And it's, am I losing parts of myself, in a sense, for someone else? Am I losing the recovery that I worked so hard to get? Am I now putting unnecessary pressure on myself to be perfect when I shouldn't have to do that? So it's something that's on my mind. And it's not on my mind because of a relationship and something that I need. It's on my mind because of how hard I worked to get to this point. And now I'm looking at myself and I'm thinking to myself, I guess you could be better. And that's really hard because it took a lot to get to this point where I'm happy with who I am. I'm working every day on forgiving myself for the mistakes that I've made to other people. And now I'm putting more pressure on myself to be better. So sometimes I think, okay, maybe I'm better off by myself. You know, I'm okay going to parties on my own. I'm okay celebrating my birthday on my own. I'm okay with Christmas on my own, New Year's on my own. I've done those things for a long time, so I'm no stranger to it. It doesn't make me a bad person. It doesn't make it so there's something wrong with me. I just need to choose myself over everyone. And sometimes that's hard to do. It's hard to stand up for yourself and say, I am good enough. Damn it. Like, I am good enough. I am. I'm emotional, yeah. Sensitive, yep. But that also makes me a really good caretaker. It makes me good at my job. It makes me good at writing. It makes me good at feeling and expressing. And with my writing and my feeling and my expressing, I've helped a lot of people get through difficult situations. I've helped people walk out of relationships that they never thought they'd be able to do. So if I give up my sensitivity, if I give up my emotions, what else am I going to be giving up? So I have to be okay with who I am, whether I'm dating or not, and carry on that way. But it's not always easy when you have feelings. You know, it's not always easy when you're trying to communicate what you need and you might not be communicating it in the right way. And maybe someone else isn't hearing it. And that's really difficult to deal with. So I try to work on my moderation. I suck at moderation. I don't know how to do that. I'm either all in or I'm all out. You know, I'm either being super dramatic or not at all. So it's a hard thing to kind of go through something so toxic and so abusive and then go through recovery and then live after that and then get to the point where you're like dating and you met someone and they're amazing, but there are certain things that you're just like, oh man, I don't know, like, I don't want to lose myself, because it tends to happen whether you've been in a toxic relationship or not. You do tend to lose yourself. Not everybody, obviously, not all the time, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, it's not unusual for that to happen. But I think the trick is, like, pull yourself back out and to be like, okay, this isn't working for me. I need to save myself. Or like, hey, you know what? I got to take a big step back here because I got to take care of myself real fast, and maybe revisit the situation at a different time. Or learn how to express things in the right way. And I have difficulty with that because I'm emotional. So I'm getting better at it. And I'm always a work in progress. I'll always be a work in progress. I will never be perfect. But there will be that perfect person for me. There will be someone who's going to pop up and be like, hey, I love your emotions. Or not, I don't know. But there's more to me than just that. So there are a lot of things that I do think about when it comes to this, because as we date older, we do think of the future. We do think, like, can I see myself with this person long term? Can this person care for me if I'm sick? What if, heaven forbid, I get a disease and I can't take care of myself? Can this person do that? Does this person want to do that? Even though I feel like this person might not be temporary, does this person think I'm temporary? Is this, you just don't know, because it's questions that some men and some women are very uncomfortable answering because they don't know. They may not be in the right, like, time in their life, and maybe the timing is off. I used to be one of those people that was like, no, I don't believe in that. Like, the timing's right. It's just the person, da, da, da. And then now I'm realizing maybe timing can be off, like, you might meet, like, a really good person, but at the wrong time. And what do you do with that? Like, what do you do with that? Do you, like, hang out and chill and, like, hope and pray that this, like, works out? Or do you make the big decision to say, sorry, buddy, deuces, I gotta go and kind of do my own thing? So it's a tough decision to make, because you can't expect someone to answer those questions, like, how they feel about you. I mean, I guess you can, actually. You can. And they'll probably answer it either in their own way, or not at all. So it all boils down to, like, making a decision for yourself. Like, what's the best decision for you? Are you going to be able to stick it out with someone if it's the wrong time and kind of handle all that? Or are you going to be like, you know what, call me when it's over. See where we're at that point. I just don't know. It's a hot thing, and it's not like one answer for everybody, like across the board. You know, it's not like everyone's going to have the same feelings about it. I've been getting, you know, different answers to that question that different people have, and none of them are the same. You know, it's kind of crazy because like when we're dating somebody and you like say tell your friends about them or whatever, your friends will have their opinions. And sometimes they just like get rid of that person, or sometimes they're like, yeah, I get it. Other times people are just, they hear one wrong thing about someone, they're like, get away from that person, they're the worst. And I think it's difficult because people who have been married for a long time will say stuff like, just find someone else. Cool, I'm gonna hit up Target, see what they have on their shelves, because you know it's that freaking easy. But when you meet someone that you think is worth it, I guess you weigh out like the pros and cons. You know, like for me, I would love to have a guy that is proud of me, that wants to show me off, that wants to tell his friends about me, somebody that is proud of my work that I do, somebody that is happy to be with me in public and who has me feeling wanted, you know, that I know they want me, not every other girl. Or somebody who's, you know, likes attention from other people, like a ton of it. It's hard because you might not find the perfect person that will do the things that you want, but you'll find someone that does stuff that maybe you need. But it is hard because for me, that's a big thing. Like, I want to feel like that person wants me, because for me, I've never felt that way. I didn't feel that way with my mom. I didn't feel that way in my marriage. I didn't feel that way with my original schnauzer, Charlie, who would sleep with me and hang out with me until my sister showed up. And when my sister showed up, he ditched. So what the heck, even Charlie ditched. That definitely didn't feel wanted in my next relationship. And I'm kind of looking for that. You know, somebody who's like, hey, that crazy girl with the hair and the accent and those brown eyes, that one's mine. And I'm super proud of her. So I guess we all have different things that we're looking for and different things that we want in somebody. Obviously, I want those things, but I want honesty, integrity, somebody who can, you know, show up when you need them to, or still care about you and love you even if they're pissed off at you. Somebody who communicates, you know, those things. Anyway, dating is really difficult regardless. So, I don't know. Check out my website, kellysmithauthor.com, to see more of my videos and to listen to my podcast, and also check out some of my blogs.